Namaskara. I started recording already. I forgot I had not done a couple of things. Hope you can hear me properly. You can
Yes.
hear, right?
Yes.
Good. Let me come back here. My PowerPoint. So we will, 1 second. What is happening? Okay. So we will continue with Sampadanga's view of Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad as a part of understanding his own views of Kena Upaniṣad. His book is very detailed, and it's for me hard to separate out Sampadanga's unique points as compared to what was said by Vedanta Deshika in his Īśāvāsya Bhashya or from any other person, right? It's very hard for me to figure out where Sampathanga brings out unique points. That's hard for me. Okay, but whatever it is, we'll study and figure out. And you have some of you have studied the Īśāvāsya Upanishad already. Almost 50% have studied Īśāvāsya Upanishad already, and other 50% probably have not studied. So we'll figure it out. I'm going to go slowly, as much as without trying to bore people who know this already. Right? Yeah. Or it may be a revision for those people who already know. Okay. So this is where we stopped last time. What we were talking is about that Lord is a synthesizing force of the universe. And the Vedic prescriptions are important because they are divine injunctions, and we have to follow them and act on it. So there is no exemption from Vedic duties, because the word kurvanneva iha, kurvanneva iha. That means it is a must. So only when you continue with the Vedic duties, you realize self better, and you understand the immutable divine within you. So work is important. That was the fourth verse class here. Okay. Here, there's a wonderful, there was a wonderful verse cited here to understand, to get some details. Ata ye chasyeva heva jivaha echa preta echa nyadichanne nalabhate sarvam tadatra gatva vindate atra hyasya ite satyaha kamaha anritapi dhanaha तद्यथापि हिरण्यनिधिं निहितम् अक्षेत्रज्ञा उपर्युपरि सञ्चरन्तो न विन्देयुरेवमेव इमाः प्रजाः सर्वाः प्रजाः अहरहर गच्छन्त्य एतं ब्रह्मलोकं न विन्दन्ति अनृतेन हि प्रत्यूढाः. This verse is, I think, Chāndogya 8:32. I like this verse a lot. Let me tell you what it says. Let us read the actual translation of this. It's important to know. Several people do not understand the first three lines of it. The last three lines, many people keep, because they keep on quoting it. This you sort of know. Let's read the whole meaning together. Further, those of his relatives who are still alive and those who are dead, and all those things a person cannot get, even if he wishes for them, all these he gets by going within his heart. All true desires of a person are in his heart, though they are hidden. It is like when there is gold hidden someplace underground, and people who are ignorant of it walk over that spot again and again, knowing nothing about it. Similarly, all these beings go to Brahmaloka every day, and yet they know nothing about it because they are covered by ignorance. How many people have heard this whole verse? Anyone? Hello?
I knew that.
Good.
I have heard.
How many others?
Only the half you have already mentioned in the classes, like walking over the gold.
Correct.
Not the
And that
whole
is
verse. Yeah.
generally what do you call, people understand that. So what this really means is human beings always desire for something. People, who can, everything around us, it's a desire. Oh, I want to see this person. I can't see this person. I want to see this. All the desires, whether it can be obtained or not, they are right here within you. Upari upari sancharanto. Why does this say aharahar gacchantya? Why does it say every day, etam brahmalokam? That means all these beings go to Brahmaloka every day. What does this mean? Anyone?
That is in our 4 stages, we go there and then we really don't know.
No.
Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, and in Sushupti.
In deep sleep. In deep
Just
sleep.
a second, please. Just a
Deep
second.
sleep.
Just a second. There's something happening in my volume. Okay, now I should be back. Just a second. So every day we go through wake, deep sleep, and dreaming. But we don't know that we met Brahman. In deep sleep, we meet Brahman. But actually, there is a 4th stage, which we don't know. That 4th stage is actually direct realization of Brahman, and that happens right within us. For these 4 stages, does anybody need to go to a temple?
These are all the normal state of a healthy mind.
Exactly. So you don't have to go to a temple. They're within you. This Brahmaloka is within you. I found this verse pretty interesting. Okay, now we go further. This is the 5th verse. And let's go. I will try to speed up if I think that you know it, right? Tadejati tannejati taddure tadvantike tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasya bahyatah. It moves, yet it does not move. It is far away, yet also near. It is inside everything and also outside everything. Looks very simple verse, right? If you go further, a lot of details emerge out of this. So it's abstract and concrete. Concrete is right here too. So abstract is all pervading. We don't understand where this person is pervading. Concrete, he is a real person acting in this world as a master. So Vibhu and Prabhu, both are there. Vibhu is formless, underlying presence, omnipotence, omniscience, but remain unexpressed. That is, we don't see him having it. But as a Prabhu, he is operative, engages with the world completely and concretely. Let's see what it means. But Lord is unconcerned. Audasinya, that means detached. He is neutral. There is a war going on, so many people dying, so many people in the hospital, so many people suffering or enjoying. He just keeps quiet. But he always does common good to all beings. Somebody is giving a medicine, and the medicine will work inside. The blood will flow and take it to different parts of the body, and it gets cured. The rain is coming. All the common things, he's making things happen. So he gives freedom to human beings to think and act independently, as if. He also approves and he's a witness. That means we keep on doing whatever we do. He approves and he just sees, like a speaker in an assembly, maintains order in the whole thing and discipline, does not interfere with what we do and what we get. So he's anumantā, approver, udasina, detached witness. So freedom is initially granted to individuals. They act freely, as if, but even the freedom is granted. So approval implies some responsibility and consequence, right? Okay, do what you want, but there are consequences. But he's also witnessing everything, and he supports everything because he is antaryami. So he does this without bias. He is satya and jnana and ananda. What is individual responsibility? We know that our actions will come and act on us. We'll have reactions. So how much freedom does human beings have? This is a question which is hard to understand, right? See here, the Vedantishika view brings in a different angle to this verse. He is near yet far. What does near and far means? And this is what is highlighted by my grandfather here. Tadejat, God moves by prayers and good conduct. This is highlighted in the Madhva and Ramanuja, particularly in Ramanuja, in the Viśiṣṭādvaita view a lot. My grandfather follows a lot of Viśiṣṭādvaita, but he puts in some details which are pretty interesting. So if somebody is in despair, somebody is in trouble, if that person sincerely seeks, some help will come somehow. Sometimes it doesn't come too. Because God is udasina, because he looks at the past karmas and takes action. So God is inscrutable. We don't understand God properly. But we know in our own lives, because we experience pleasure, pain, and all those things, we understand these things roughly. But he is definitely accessible. If he is not accessible, then what is the use of his paratva? Paratva is beyond everything, a transcendent person. He is all controller, omniscient, omnipresent, and all those things. But what will that do to us? Because we are stuck in this matter. So a connect with God and his reaction and help is very necessary for anyone, right? This is true. So God can be won over love and devotion. This is an important point people have to realize. This is where even the Alvars come and say, even though those people don't understand a lot of philosophy, Vedanta, Charcha, Tarkashastra, Nyayashastra, all those things, they don't. If they just develop devotion and love to God, they will definitely have value. That is where all the religion comes to play. In almost many religions, here from the Vedic perspective, accessibility to God, temples, archamurtis. However, if people can't understand God directly, you need this religion also. So our progress, because you need the help of Ishvara. Ishvara is there in everything. Īśāvāsya sarvam, right? Everything is pervaded by Ishvara. Because you need the help of Ishvara. And without his help, you cannot succeed spiritually or otherwise, you have to turn towards that Ishvara. That is the human choice you have to make consistently. And when you don't make, Maya is there and you will get beaten up badly by Maya. And that you can experience too. So God feels far when a person goes away from him. So once a person realizes that I am going towards something matter and I'm not going close to God, that realization is slowly becomes repenting, and that God helps him indirectly, directly. So he is goodness, Satyam, Bhuman, Ananta, Ananda. Bhuman is large, universal. He is Sachidananda, and Ananda means he's a loving father, Pravartaka. He always looks for opportunity to help us. This is an additional point of view brought by Shiva Vaishnava Vedanteshika kind of view. The first two are common to other schools. Udasina, he doesn't care what you do, you can do what you want. Anumantā, he will let you do many things, and he just approves. And his karmadyaksha, he gives whatever you do, he will give fruits for that. So reliance on him opens the door for the path to self-surrender. So the thing is, once you hold on to God and totally trust God and seek his help, if you seek his help, he will help you. So as a karmadyaksha is a judge and governs and justice and time and all those things, that is also there. But he's also the father. See, that is where the upāsanā karanatva is very important. He's the material cause of this universe. You cannot get away from him. He cannot get away from you. So he will act beyond law, beyond the karma theories, karma everything, because he gets personally involved, and his grace is what gives us the advantage. So look for his grace. Now, Adiji, what is your question? Can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry, I didn't get if you already explained what it means to when it said that he is far and near at the same time. I didn't quite catch what you said. Can you please explain that?
Yeah, far means if you turn away from him, you will become far. When you are turning away from him, what does it mean? You are turning towards Maya and all the pleasures of life. And he appears far in the sense that he is not available for you. Where is God? And one might become an atheist. Person who goes towards, seeks God, God becomes close to you. God starts interacting with you indirectly, though you may not be able to see right away. He will definitely act and participate in your life. That's what it means, far and near. It will become clearer in a few slides. So
in the Kena Upaniṣad, when they say that he cannot be known by the mind, right? So
yes.
Does far mean that he cannot be known by the mind, and near because he is the one who's making the senses work, because he's the antaryami?
See, that is not mentioned by these acharyas. Thing is, obviously, his what do you call? Then what does near mean? His far means he is beyond our mind. Then how can you explain near there? Near is a problem, right?
His presence is only making the senses work,
Everywhere,
right?
but it is not felt. So that is where you need to get this personal aspect of Brahman. In Kena Upaniṣad, though that particular verse does not deal with the personal aspect that much. Here, even though you can take this verse also exactly like Kena Upaniṣad saying that, oh, he is inside everything, outside everything, and he is, he is not reachable. because he's beyond our mind and thought and everything. You can make it look like this, but there is a... Mommy, please mute yourself, because background conversation should not come in here. So,
Sorry, I wanted to tell, so I was waiting for the gap.
Okay, tell
because
me.
That is, we cannot know through the mind, that is true, but it is the mind that helps us to know. The self will know the Paramatma.
True.
But mind is the agent. It works outside also, it works inside also. For God realization also, mind helps till the end, till the Ajna Chakra. So we know, we come to know Bhagavan with the help of the mind. Mind does not, it itself cannot know, because it is an antarindri. That's also an indriya, product of Prakriti.
Yes. Correct. So thing is, now let us look at, this kind of, why don't we do the interpretation just like Kena Upaniṣad and forget it? Here, go further 2 or 3 slides, you will know why there is a validity, right? God's presence is inside. Antarasya sarvasya. Tadu sarvasya bahyataha. He is inside everything and outside. From inside, he guides and possesses fully. Outside, he protects us from external pressures. These are some different ways of looking at it, right? This is not outside means just is outside, inside means inside. We can say that. But he is watching you from within and helping you. And he's also protecting you from outside, from external pressures and everything. He is working with you very closely. This is what God's presence means. Let's see. Oh, is this interpretation too much? Let's see how he takes it. So one has to understand he is not just a citizen of this divine democracy of many, many universes and many, many types of beings like devatas, gandharvas, yakshas, kinnaras, rakshasas and all. But a person is also the child of the Lord, embraced and uplifted in every moment. Every moment. So this prepares the ground for the 5th verse. And what is that? This is where Shaunaka mentioned Shaunaka's interpretation. Shaunaka is a great rishi. And then he talks in the Vishnu Dharma, Purāṇa 99:13. He says, Parangmukhanam Govinde Viśiṣṭādvaita chetasam tesham tatparam brahma durat durataram sthitam tatparatvena Govinde ye naraha tyakta chetasaha vishayatyaginas tesham tyaginahat tesham vigneyam chat dadantike. So he says, for those who turn away from Govinda and whose minds are attached to material objects, the Supreme Brahman Govinda remains even farther away. For those who are single-mindedly devoted to Govinda, renouncing all worldly pleasures, the Supreme Brahman should be understood as very near to them. So this is an important point made by Rishi Shaunaka. Here, there is something else hiding here in his words and also in the Bhagavatam. The word Govinda means Krishna is not just a person who was in Mathura or somewhere and he helped out the Pandavas against Kauravas. That's only one aspect, right? But Govinda is actually Supreme Brahman. That is the point made by Shaunaka in the Vishnu Dharma Purāṇa. This is important. You know why? Many people forget to give prominence to Bhagavad Gita. They try to interpret everything else without the help of Bhagavad Gita. That is what my grandfather indicates. So Govinda is the title given by Indra when Indra was defeated. Even though Indra thought that he could bring storm and rain and shower and destroy everything in Mathura, Krishna lifted the Govardhana mountain with just one finger and then protected everybody there. And then Indra apologized to Krishna and gave him the title Govinda. That's what is the point here made. So Krishna is Parabrahman. So then what should we do? We should refer back to Bhagavad Gita and say, what does Krishna say about these verses? So we were studying Īśāvāsya, but what do we learn from Krishna's words? Krishna's words in 9:10, 15:15, and in the Yajuraranyaka gives support to what we understand here in the Īśāvāsya 5th verse. So what are the references here? So the philosophical context. The Gita, we have to, I will come to Gita a little bit later. Yajuraranyaka, this is one of the most famous works in the Yajuraranyaka. It says, Antah pravishta shasta jana nam sarva atma. What it says is, Antah pravishtaha, that Lord is inside Shasta Jananam. He is the controller, ruler of everybody. That is in the Yajuraranyaka. The similar ideas are there in the Bhagavad Gita. It is the 10:10. It says, Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagad viparivartate. Working under my direction, this material energy brings into being all inanimate forms. O son of Kunti, that is Arjuna, for this reason the material world undergoes change in every way. Sarvasya chaham, this is the 15:15. Sarvasya chaham hridisannivish. Before that, I just want to mention one thing about this Yajuraranyaka. It seems my grandfather had told me, just based on this particular verse, word or sentence of this Yajuraranyaka, Antah pravishta shasta jananam sarvatma, my grandfather, it seems, wrote 500 poems in Sanskrit as a participation in a poem, probably national or a state level poem competition. And it seems that he won the gold medal for that. He mentioned to me, just thought of mentioning to you, that's all. Sarvasya chaham hridisannivishtaha mattasmriti jnanam apohanam cha vedaisya sarvaihi ahameva vedyo vedanta krit veda videva chaham. So in his mind, if he has written 500 poems on a one sentence of Yajuraranyaka, obviously he has picked up and done a lot of research to see the value of it. Here he brings in Krishna's words, I am seated in the hearts of everyone. Sarvasya chaham hridisannivishtaha. Matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha. You remember, you forget things and you get knowledge because of me. Vedaischa sarvaihi ahameva vedyo. All the Vedas only speak about me. I am the one to be known in the Vedas. Vedanta krit veda videva chaham. I give the phala of what Vedas say as fruits. I am the giver of the fruits. I am the only knower of Veda, the true knower of Vedas. So these thoughts support the idea of what we understand from Īśāvāsya. Here, though, in the 10, that is 10:10, a different personal aspect of Lord Brahman is said here. And this personal aspect is only mentioned in one or two words. That is, in Īśāvāsya it says, I am near or far. That's all. I am both near and far. But what does near means is, Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhiyogam tam yenamam upayantite. He says, for those whose minds are united with me, with loving devotion, I give divine knowledge by which they can attain me and attain spiritual progress. So he is the redeemer of sins, and his mercy is shown here. Even the Alvars say Sevyatvam and Karunyam are very important. If he does not have mercy, we don't have a chance in life. Mukunda Karunam Vande Mugdeshva Picha Vatsalam Swarupa savau yasyaha nirhetuka sahayetukau. There is some problem in this verse. I'll clarify later. Here, there is a verse of Vedanta Deshika. He explains, I bow down to the goddess of mercy of Mukunda. Probably this is in the Paduka Sahasra, who gets the name because his eternal interest is to give salvation to self. Mukunda means moksham dadati iti Mukunda. So, mercy is very important for everybody. Next. This we have covered already. Here, he quotes a verse from Vedanta Deshika's view of freedom and free will, freedom and everything. Here, there's a point. I will not read the whole thing. The meaning here is the freedom is also given by God. Self thinks and moves and acts by itself. God remains unconcerned, and he is the approver and judge, and he rewards punishment or good fruits of good activities. But by knowing this, do we know karma theory completely? Because it's more complicated. He says in Brihadaranyaka says, Eshahyeva hyadu asadu karma karyati, Eshahyeva sadhu karma karyati. Even the good things we do, God is making us do. And even the bad things we do, God is making us do. If we know all these things, do we understand karma theory? That's my question. Anybody?
Unless
Very difficult.
It's always confusing.
no, unless somebody has freedom, then only we can speak of karma.
What did you say? I didn't hear you.
No, unless the jiva is free to some extent, then only we can talk of karma.
Otherwise, you won't understand, because if you are stuck inside karma, you will not know the nature of karma. Is that what you're saying? Is it what you're saying?
No. If there is no freedom on the part of the jiva, then it means then karma theory has no meaning. Only if it has some freedom to do. If God has given it some freedom, then only there is a possibility of karma theory or karma.
Okay.
There is freedom for the jiva. Freedom is always there.
And freedom is given.
But discrimination is also there in the jiva.
We cannot understand karma theory in its entirety just by learning what we just understood, like what you just said. But it does give us an overview of how it works. That you get the fruits of your action, but it is given by the Lord, who is an impartial witness. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, definitely true. Karma theory cannot be known completely with our rational mind. And in fact, I remember case we're making fun of the Vedantins. Okay. Against the one life theory. One life theory is there is only one life, and afterward, that is the Semitic religions, right? There is only one life. You're born and you're dead. When you're dead, you will be laid down to rest for a long period of time. And when God thinks that He can breathe based on your judgment day, on the judgment day, you will go to heaven or hell. That is or maybe some intermediate thing. That is the idea of the Semitic religions, right? That includes Christianity, Islam, and Jewish religion, Abrahamic religions, right? Beyond that, karma theory is more logical, right? Because pura karma is there, later karma is there, and all those things. Karma theory becomes logical, but that is not the end of it. Karma theory can give you some rational peace of mind. And if you go closer and closer, you may get a better idea of what karma is. But really speaking, karma is never understood. That is why when Alvars, Nimalan, Vimalan, Nimmalan, Nidivanavan, when Alvar realizes God that you don't have any blemish, Alvar says to God, oh, you are acting in this world, you are actually giving punishment and good fruits also for people, but there is no mistake of yours. And that realization that God is free from all mistakes is actually realization. You cannot logically, rationally come to that decision. It is, one has to completely be jnani. Only in that state that person can see God is perfect and he
The problem
does
is
not have any blemish.
the problem is that we don't fully accept free will, nor do we fully accept determinism. We pick and choose. Some things I have done, some things Lord has done. That's what we go by.
Yeah. So here, one second. Which verse are we talking? I probably didn't even copy the next verse. Hold on a second. Okay. See, I think I forgot the verse here. I should have inserted the verse, the next verse. That is the, this is the, 1 second. Let me just, give me a second. I need to look into where I missed out the verse. Can you see my screen? Hello?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So the thing is, this is the verse I forgot to insert. This is the 6th verse. Estu sarvani bhutani atmanyeva anupashyati sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tatona vijugupsate. So this verse is very heavy. The meaning here, a lot of meaning is contained in this verse. Okay. Estu sarvani bhutani atmanyeva anupashyati. So all beings are seen within himself. Atmani, he is here, Paramatma here. We'll figure out what that is when we go further. Sarvabhuteshu chatmanam. So thing is, he sees Atma in every other entity. Tatona vijugupsate. The person will not be upset or disgusted with anything. What does this mean? What is this? What are the details of this verse? Let's see further. See, bhuta here refers to self in embodiment. Embodiment means all of us as personality. Atman refers to possessor, the holder, the controller, the omniscient, that is the Lord. So Atma is Paramatma here, and Bhuta is all beings. What is the process of intuition? So what is mentioned here is the process of intuition. Go within. If you go outside, that will become logical thinking and rational thinking. Reasoning is outside. Intuition is inside. You can apply reason to inward knowledge also. That happens later. Now, the intuition includes upāsanā. That happens after dharana, dhyana, samadhi. The dharana, dhyana, samadhis are the last three of the 8 processes in the Aṣṭāṅga Yoga. Okay. While we are talking about Aṣṭāṅga Yoga brings, is embedded in this verse. Now, I want to ask you something. Now, I'm actually writing the preface and general introduction for my grandfather's book on Aṣṭāṅga Yoga, basically on Yoga Sutras only, where Aṣṭāṅga Yoga is explained. And there, a question comes up. What does Samadhi means? Is Samadhi final? What is Patanjali Maharshi's view on Samadhi? There, I'm just going to give you a hint. My grandfather picks up and breaks up this Patanjali Yoga Sutras and says, in Samadhi, there are still certain internal emotions and other things remaining. It is not final. And that is indicated by Patanjali himself. And this is not easily understood by many people unless they go through Yoga Sutras completely, very deeply. And now I'm enjoying Yoga Sutra studies because I'm trying to write up the work. Just as a casual note, I mentioned this is important in the sense that why Yoga Sutras are important and why many people have not got deep into it. That is the second question, is enigmatic. We don't know. Here. So this verse is going through dharana, dhyana, samadhi, and that is and eventually it will become upāsanā. What does it mean? So meditation means samyama, means trayam ekatra samyamaha. Trayam means what? Trayam means all the three. All the three. Ekatra. All the three means dharana, dhyana, samadhi. When you focus that on an object of knowledge, that is Paramatma, that becomes, that will culminate in Samadhi. Samyama means that is the three processes together. So upāsanā is a more advanced stage beyond simple meditation, holding a unique position in religious culture. So what is upāsanā will be explained further. So Samadhi is a state which is, the yogi becomes practically dead to the external world. He will not be disturbed by anything happening in the external world. Vyuthana means state of consciousness when the yogi returns to the normal life from meditation. So during Vyuthana, he is not meditating. He's probably walking around just like us. He's eating, sleeping, talking. Only when you see a yogi of that level, you will know how those people act. So when meditation matures, the distinction between samyama and vyuthana disappears. So samadhi and vyuthana the difference will go away. That means a very mature yogi, even though he is walking around, talking like us, eating and all those things, he is still in the samadhi state. That is a very high level of yogi. And that kind of awareness is known as upāsanā. So the thing is, when the difference between whether the person is meditating or is out of meditation, when it goes away, the person gets pure sight of truth. That is a super sight after contemplation. This is a mature meditation. And in that state, the intellect is pure. And it is not colored by the gunas of the sharira or mind. Body and mind will not act on the intellect. And intellect becomes pure sight. So sense-oriented pleasures or effects of senses, nothing affects this kind of a yogi. A rational mind is inherently doubting mind that dictates its conclusions to the intellect. So when you don't have the sight, all you have is your mind and senses and things like that. and that will give you different ideas, and you find out later those ideas are wrong. So when your mind is colored by your senses and your intellect is colored by your senses and mind, it becomes free reason, right? Reason based on sense data. And typically that makes a person arrogant, that he knows it, because I already know it. I'm a brilliant person. So arrogance will come even though the person lacks the true sight. So a mind is obedient and faithful. When mind is controlled, it becomes faithful. So the reason becomes constructive, and convictions are true convictions where this is right, this is wrong, and the person knows. So the culture of intuition is what this Upanishad is trying to say. It is not generic rational view. It is saying, oh, seeing God in everything and me in God. That is just rational way of looking at it. But it is somewhat much deeper, which is the upāsanā. That's what is mentioned here. So instinct is the sensual side of mind. By instinct, you do something, good or bad. You become angry. You react, or you become very friendly. All these things are instinct. Conviction is sight of mind. Even this mind can be colored. Conviction is you truly know what is right and what is wrong. But that is in the ordinary world. But upāsanā is intellectual sight. It is beyond ordinary conviction. See, now you might know that if I drive the car like this, I will definitely go like this way. That is a conviction based on sense data and mind data. But upāsanā is knowing the truth as who I am, who Paramatma is, everything, and knowing truth completely. So our mind and intellect work together even here. Slowly we get moksha. So till moksha, all these things work together. But this intellect is an inseparable quality associated with individual self. That's very important, because even in moksha, you have intellect. There, that intellect experiences bliss. So when external objects are there, intellect shines too. But when it is drawn within, that is, go inside the self, it experiences bliss inside. So the intellect helps you. So the intellect is a vision of your jivatma. What is apperception? Apperception is aparoksha. In fact, the words are sort of Sanskrit and English come close here. Apperception is aparoksha. Aparoksha is not identical with the experience of self. It's just that you directly know yourself. That's all. But you don't experience yourself. You just know that you exist. You know that you are the thinker, doer, experiencer, right? So it's all apperception means that the self is I in all the experiences. It is not an experience of experience, but it is just integral to ourself. So there are some clarity in terminology he does, so that we can go to the next process of in-depth understanding of yoga and steps of yoga here. So we do not experience our blissfulness, right? We know we exist, but we don't know we are blissful. That is where the intellect has to turn inside and it should become meditation. Only when the meditation is perfect, the bliss gets experienced.
What is the word for intellect in Sanskrit?
Dhi.
What do you mean?
Dhi is one word. Or dhiraha. Dhiraha, the word in the Upanishad, the dhi is actually intellect. It is also dharmabhuta jnana in our Sri Vaishnava terminology. So dharmabhuta jnana can be here in the ordinary world when the external objects are experienced through dharmabhuta jnana. Dharmabhuta Jnana is attribute of Jivatma. It is always associated with Jivatma, like the Prabhavata. If sun is the object, sun's rays, so sun is Jivatma, if you say. Sun's rays are Dharmabhuta Jnana or intellect. So our Sri Vaishnava is the main, is Sri Vaishnava, Viśiṣṭādvaita is one unique Vedanta which clearly says the intellect exists even in moksha. Probably Madhvacharya agrees with this too.
But what I feel, the state of mukti is to forget that I. There is only two tattvas, tvam and aham. So when mukti stage is attained, that aham is completely dissolves in tvam, or that tvam will dissolve in aham. There is only one thing in mukti state. That's what I feel. I don't know.
Okay. So the thing is, we will take that view, keep that view in your mind. We will study this further, and then I'll come to the answer to your how people view it differently in different systems of thought. We will come to that because Advaita thinks differently, Viśiṣṭādvaita thinks differently. So the thing is, let's. I will explain today. We may not be able to finish this what I thought I would finish, but tomorrow anyway we have a class right away in 24 hours. We'll go into a lot of details, and whatever question you're saying is important. So the thing is, if you have to completely forget yourself in mukti. We'll figure that out. Okay? Yeah. So for the so bliss can come only through upāsanā. Bliss is not.
See, what I mean is dvandva. There should not be a dvandva in mukti state.
There cannot be two things, right? That's all, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that we will figure this out after we understand the views here. Okay. And one more thing, I want you to do homework for you. Where exactly is mukti explained in the Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad? Do that homework. Go look at the 18 mantras and the state of mukti, like how you explained, is that reflected in the Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad, and where is it reflected? Please check it. Okay? All right. Now, that is a personal homework for you in next 24 hours. So this...
Don't tell the text.
You can go Google it, Īśāvāsya, Google it, you will get the text. And I share the text also. You can go get it from archive.org. Just Google it, you will get it. In fact, Shashi ji beautifully gave the 18 mantra text in one of his texts on Telegram, actually. Okay. If you want, I can give you the mantra text later on after the class. This introversion of this intellect occurs through reflection in mind. So mind is also operative here. Mind is necessary even for upāsanā. But mind cannot focus on abstract entities. It has to be a concrete entity. So self is an abstract principle in a way. It's asharira, right? And so directly it is difficult to focus on self also. So here, my grandfather introduces a very different concept here, right? God takes a form and the self should identify with that form. God is there. God is just not all present, Vibhu only. That means he is everywhere. And how can you focus on something everywhere? But God does take a form. Only when you have pure mind, you can focus on that. This is what occurs during meditation. Ātmā-eva anupashyati, Atma is Paramatma there, right? And definitely Atma, one has to focus on Paramatma. Go back to the verse, you will see, right? Go back to the verse. Yastu sarvani bhutani Atman-eva anupashyati. In Paramatma, you see everything. Anupashyati means what? Anusritya pashyati, continuously see without a break. That's not possible in rational thinking. That's possible only in when a mature yogi does his yoga.
Does it mean that that seeing is permanent, and in the normal samadhi, seeing is temporary?
Yes, in the normal samadhi, when somebody sits down and do yoga, there may be a temporal sight. That too, depending on the maturity of the samadhi. But when a yogi becomes so powerful, even if when he wakes up from the yoga, he sees the same truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So then comes the problem. What is this self-realization? There is a difference in meditating on self. Self is at least available to us, right? That is, when I'm seeing or touching, feeling, or whatever it is, oh, I am there, I'm there, I'm there. So there's something nearby. But where is this God? God is not easy. What is self-realization and what is God realization has to be understood. So this is where he spends a few pages on this, right? God realization is a sight of God by the self. So self is the knowing self. And there is also a sight of self. That means knowing yourself. Both realizing yourself and realizing God can be blissful. In the first case, that is in the case of self-realization, the blissfulness of divinity is denied to the self. That means the person is not focusing on Paramatma. He is only focusing on Jivatma. But Jivatma also has a bliss within Jivatma. So that amount of bliss a person can experience when that person realizes Jivatma, or when he gets ātmā-sākṣātkāra, some level of bliss is experienced. But in the second, ātmā-sākṣātkāra, the bliss of God includes the bliss of self and God. So the bliss of God is experienced. That would be a combination of Jivatma's bliss and Paramatma's bliss. Or Paramatma is the ocean of divine bliss, and Jivatma's bliss doesn't even count in a way, right? So the second case is God realization. In fact, there is an entire section in the Tattvamukta Kalapa and Sarvankasha discussion, which is very important, where K.S. Varadacharya Swami takes the concept of Brahmananda Anubhava, what is experience of Brahman, and goes through different systems of thought and explains how Madhvacharya feels and other people feel. In fact, Madhvacharya brings in the concept of Pishashi Pudikirthungrala, Tamilla, Abdina, possessed by a demon, possessed by a ghost. Like that, Paramatma possesses the Jivatma, and then Jivatma gets the experience of God. So there is a different analogy there. I don't want to confuse you. Someday we can pick up that chapter and understand what case we is talking about. I'm just giving you some initial information here.
That will be an easy thing if it happens.
What did you say?
I'm saying, if it happens, that will be so easy, right? Like,
Yes.
like ghost catches us. God comes and catches us. It will be such an easy thing, but it's not happening.
I know. Catching him is tough. If he catches us, it will be easier. Yeah. So in both self-realization and God realization, who is experiencing? That is the you. That is the upperceiving self, or the self which is the experiencer. So self-realization is not same as aparoksha jnana. Aparoksha jnana is knowing that you are the experiencer. That's all. But that is not self-realization, because self-realization is a real experience. Aparoksha jnana is something which we know that I am the perceiving self. That's all. So Jivatma-sākṣātkāra is also direct realization, and that is very important and powerful, and it's not easily obtained. Aparoksha jnana is obtained because I feel that I'm the experiencer. Okay, and there are two types of meditation, because within the self itself there is Paramatma. You cannot disconnect or cut off the existence of God inside yourself. So he is inside there. But in self-realization, you don't focus on Paramatma within, but you only focus on yourself. So there are two types of two ways to look at it. Swatma Shariraka Paramatma Anusandhana. That means there is a Jivatma, and Jivatma is the body of God. But when you are meditating on yourself, you are actually meditating on God, because that becomes more important to you. That is known as Swatma Shariraka Paramatma Anusandhana. There is another version of it, and not version, another different path, Brahmatmaka Swatma Anusandhana. That means you are meditating on yourself, but you know that there is somebody powering it, because Brahma is the Atma there. But your focus is on the Swatma Anusandhana. Your focus is more on the Jivatma, not on the Paramatma. So there are two types here. So before understanding the two types of these philosophy, the meditation paths, look at how my grandfather breaks things down. Okay, because he says the first practice of upāsanā is necessary. What is the upāsanā? That is explained in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 4 shlokas. See how my grandfather connects the Bhagavad Gita into the right hooks into the Upanishads. And that he talks as a 4-course identity process known as Adhyatma Yoga or Samatva or Samya Yoga. That is explained in the Gita called Yoyam Yogas Tvaya Proktaha Samyena Madhusudana. That is what Arjuna says after hearing it in the 6th chapter, because he doesn't understand what Krishna said at that time. The 4 verses of the 6th chapter, we have gone through it earlier, so I don't have to go through it again. But this is where we stop. And if we go further, what he says is, what is Adhyatma Yoga of the Kena Upaniṣad? He brings that together here. He brings that what exactly is upāsanā, and he brings very, very different ideas that we will take it tomorrow, because today we're out of time. And another thing is this particular concept of Swatma Sharirika Paramatma Anusandhana, Brahmatmaka Swatma Anusandhana, this happens after the Samya Yoga, after the similarity yoga, which is explained in the 6th chapter. We'll take it slowly because it's going to be tougher if we start pumping so much of information right away. By the way, I want to ask you, since some of you have studied Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad, has any other author mentioned in this method the connectivity to Gita and to breaking down the Aṣṭāṅga Yoga into small bits and pieces and exactly locating them as to where what is explained in the Īśāvāsya Upaniṣad? Has that been explained by anybody else? Hello? Did you hear my question? I see silence. Everybody gone?
No, I mean, Vedanteshika's explanations, he does actually, he quotes from other places also.
He does. But is that clear? Was the explanations given by other teachers or something? Did they mention these levels of yoga? Ahangrahopasana, where does it fit in? Where does Swatma Sharirika Paramatma fit in? Where does Brahmatmaka Swatma Sandhana fit in?
True, it is not similar, but whatever I have read, that the upāsanā of the aham it runs into pages actually, even Vedanta Deshika's explanation. So he refers to different Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and other things also. It is different from whatever I'm saying here, but certainly there are references.
See, there are references. See, the thing is, okay, let me explain to you. When you go further, you will realize further and further what my grandfather is trying to say. And only I can tell you with my own experience. I have studied Īśāvāsya according to three acharyas, Shankara Ramanuja, Shankara Vedanteshika and Madhvacharya. And I have taught this twice in Hindu University of America. To students of almost 15-20 students learned. So Ilangoji might have attended one of the lectures, right? Ilangoji, did you attend?
I did not, but I think I attended the previous one. Like you talked about the all three acharyas. Yeah, I attended the
That is the
previous one.
Advaita and Viśiṣṭādvaita and Dvaita
Yeah.
views.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I also did a course on Bhagavad-Gita according to three acharyas also. So
Yeah.
you might have attended the earlier ones, not the Īśāvāsya one. Okay, fine.
Correct.
So what I'm trying to say is, I today did not get this kind of clarity using the Vedanteshika's Bhashya directly, because the explanations are quite intense in the Vedanteshika's Bhashya. And the way my grandfather connects it into Bhagavad Gita, I didn't get it at that time. Maybe my grandfather analyzes it deeper or something like that. You will see what he does in the next few shlokas. If you want, I can even get Vedanteshika's Bhashya here and exactly read out what he has said. That way we know if there is a difference, we'll figure it out. Maybe I'll check that today and let you know, is there any distinct difference or additional points mentioned by my grandfather or not? We'll figure that out. I'm almost sure Vedanteshika mentions pretty much everything, and my grandfather follows Vedanteshika like very closely. But I found his book is clearer and easier to understand, and the Aṣṭāṅga Yoga steps and all, the way he clarifies, I don't think I have seen it similar in any other textbook.
The way in which I see the major difference is how your grandfather explains this. Like these days, the Yoga Shastra, yoga, and all those things are so popular. And then, like the Buddhist yogic methods are so popular, they stay independent.
True.
And then all the Veda and then all the Karma Yoga and all those activities, they stay separate. Like there is no connection at all. And then people believe in either two different camps, and there is no connection. And then there is a in-between camp which talks about the just the yoga or just the karma. See, here we are seeing all the connection. That's the major difference I am seeing.
Exactly. The connection is there. And in Buddhist meditation and all, there is no there is mention of God or anything like that. There's no self.
Exactly.
Anaatma.
Yeah,
it is anaatma vada, right? There is no, not even
correct.
Their mind control is enough for them. Mind control is. See, it is a very powerful view. I'm not devaluing Buddhist view. Mind is the biggest difficult thing to control. If they control mind, everything will fall into.
Yeah. So we had to go through these stages, and then we will get slowly. That's with that hope I am staying. Yeah.
If you want an understanding of Yoga Sutras and different yogic methods, and also the Īśāvāsya Upaniṣads and everything together, my grandfather's view are very integrating of all these systems and things.
That's exactly how I feel it also. Yeah.
Very good. Anyway, let us continue tomorrow. Today we have finished it, unless you have any burning questions to ask today.
Yeah, the question about this aspect of buddhi, whether it belongs to prakriti or jiva. In one of the particular shlokas, you are referring to buddhi equivalent to dharma bhuta jnana itself.
Yes.
So it is very difficult to. In fact, I was thinking of that in the Bhagavad Gita class. You were telling of that shloka, right? Etad buddhi grahyam atindriyam. Probably that buddhi belongs to the jiva itself in this particular context.
True. That is true. That is what my grandfather is doing the research to prove that buddhi is integrally related to the Jivatma. It follows Jivatma everywhere, even here in bondage and beyond bondage.
Somewhere it means to say that Jiva, when we say of this witness and other things, we come across this word. It is more than witness. It is it is actually thinking and doing, actually. Jiva.
Sure. See, the witness concept comes in the Sankhya Yoga principle, right? See, what happens is people mix up everything in the internet or in your different schools of thought. Some people are studying Bihar School of Yoga, Hariharananda's Bihar School of Yoga or something. There, they view Yoga Shastra as Sankhya Yoga. What Sankhya Yoga means, Jivatma is aloof, unconnected, and Prakriti holds on to it, Jivatma. And for him to get rid of the Prakriti is his basic life. And he is akarta. That means he cannot act. Jivatma is never a karta in the Sankhya Yoga. So what happens is different philosophical principles they bring in and they understand it differently. So that is where witness concept comes. So he is only a witness because he cannot be karta. He cannot act. For a Viśiṣṭādvaita Vedanta, Jivatma is an actor. Madhva Shastra also, Madhva's Mata also, Jivatma is an actor. He is responsible for all his problems. He should do something. And he has freedom to do that. So look at the philosophies. They become very different. And it's a good question. I will check out what is the view of, free will and determination in the Sankhya Yoga theory. See, our systems is very complicated, right? There are Shad Darshanas, Sankhya, Yoga, Pashupata. There are so many darshanas. How do they view it? They're slightly different from each other. Sankhya is totally separate. Advaita picks up some aspects of Sankhya Yoga. So we need to understand.
I think buddhi is material, is a part of Prakriti.
See,
buddhi is also Prakriti.
That is a view. Okay, and that is the view probably Vedanta Deshika refutes. See, you're right in a way because see in the Alvar Yamunacharya even says Manah Prana Dhibhyo Anyaha, right? What is that? It is Dehendriya Manah Prana Dhibhyo Anyaha. Jivatma is different from Deha, Indriya, Manah, Prana, Dhi is said here. Jivatma is different, yes, because that is Swarupa. But Jivatma and Buddhi are joined together, inextricable. You cannot extricate one from the other. It is joined together.
Till the last point, buddhi is associated with the self. But self is almost similar like Brahma. So when everything gets excluded, எல்லாம் உதறி போயிடுறது. கடைசியில் இருக்கிறது ஒரு ஆத்மா தான். It experiences Paramatma. That means what is the state? I don't know. I cannot explain.
See, what you are saying is the realization as experienced and explained in the Advaita. That is not.
No, I'm not referring Advaita. But what I feel is everything is a product of my Prakriti, and when the total the final realization comes, then only there are only two things, and one is Jivatma, the other one is Paramatma, and the relationship between these two I don't know, but I think only these two will remain, and everything about relating to the Prakriti falls off. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
As an answer.
Why don't we do one thing? We study this further and figure out what Īśāvāsya tells us. It will take about at least 5 to 7 classes for us to go through, and we'll figure out what it says, what the Isha says. In the meantime, look at the verses of Īśāvāsya and figure out where the state of moksha is explained, and does it come close to what you are thinking? You do the study a little bit.
No. I am telling only from my personal what I
Experience.
feel as a student of philosophy. That's all.
Okay.
Not according to Īśāvāsya, Brihadaranyaka. I'm not
Okay.
answering from that angle.
All right, no problem. Okay, why don't we do one thing? I'm getting late. I need to go do some exercise today. I'm feeling awkward.
Thank you.
Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Atmat Parama Gurubhyo Namaha, Atmat Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Krishna Parabrahmana Namaha, Shri Krishna Parabrahmana Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Sama Parabrahmana Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Ayadana Parabrahmana Namaha, Namo Shri Krishna Brahmastu. What we will do is tomorrow, 7:30, we'll start again. We'll continue with this. It will be interesting because there are some really difficult concepts like Aham Brahmasmi kind of concepts are all there coming up. Advaita related, Advaita very much related are all coming up. Let us see how far we can go tomorrow. Okay, thank you. Namaste.
Namaskaram.